Welcome to Refreshing Delights. I'm your host, Michelle, and I'm here to share my exploration of non-alcoholic beverages or mocktails with you. Like many, I've chosen to eliminate alcohol in the pursuit of a healthier lifestyle, but appreciate they also provide options for those choosing not to drink, for designated drivers, or even expectant parents. Mocktails ensure that everyone at a party or social gathering can raise a glass and join in the celebration. Cocktails and mixology, the art or skill of mixing drinks, has increased in popularity over the past few years and become a part of our culture. Now, with the increase in popularity, numerous alcohol-free alternatives have become readily available. In each of these episodes, we'll explore different flavors achieved by the mixture or blending of ingredients, the techniques used in combining the ingredients, and the presentation of the mocktail through a variety of garnishes and glassware. Welcome to this final episode of Refreshing Delights. I'm your host, Michelle. As our mocktail journey comes to a close, I'd like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to each and every one of you who joined me on this flavorful expedition. From classic cocktails revisited to innovative sparkling mocktails, we've explored a vast array of flavors and techniques together. We're going to take a look back and recap all of the mocktails and their recipes on previous episodes. In episode 1, Classic Cocktails Revisited, we started our mocktail journey by making 3 timeless drinks, replacing the alcohol with a non-alcoholic spirit. The first cocktail that we made was a non-alcoholic old fashioned, one of the oldest known cocktails dating back to the early 19th century, which introduced us to muddling techniques and bitters. We then went on to make a non-alcoholic gin and tonic, my favorite and my go-to, as I mentioned before, which is what I have. The non-alcoholic gin and tonic is known for its simplicity. It relied on delicious ingredients and allowed us to introduce fancy ice cubes and some garnish techniques. And finally, we made a non-alcoholic margarita, another classic that provided an introduction to the use of agave-based non-alcoholic spirit, rimming a glass and using freshly squeezed orange juice as an alternative to the traditional orange liqueur. On episode 2, Classic Cuban Mocktails, we discovered the perfect balance of flavors in 2 iconic cocktails and 2 refreshing mojitos, each brimming with the spirit of Cuba. The first mocktail we made was the Cuba Libre, which means free Cuba in Spanish, and originated in the 20th century. It was a simple mocktail that is a symbol of Cuba's independence and national identity. The second was the classic daiquiri, which is an iconic Cuban cocktail with simple ingredients. And of course, the third was the mojito. We obviously made it 2 different ways. We started with the regular mint and lime, and then extended that to add some fruit, raspberry, which is one of my favorites, but obviously can be replaced with any fruit that you enjoy. In episode 3, we dove into our syrups. In part 1, we unlocked the secrets of sweetness, showcasing 3 luscious syrups to add depth and complexity to your creations. We started with our simple syrup first, which is a basic syrup used as a base for many, many mocktails. The second syrup we made was the rich Demerara syrup, which is a ratio of 2:1 sugar to water. For more depth, we added Demerara sugar versus refined white sugar. And finally, our third syrup was an allspice simple syrup, which included nutmeg, allspice, and cinnamon, all combined into a rich, delicious syrup. In episode 4, we created more syrups. We went further into the world of sweetness with 3 more syrups and a tantalizing infusion to elevate mocktails to new heights. The first syrup that we made was grenadine, which is a pomegranate juice-based syrup. The second syrup that we made was the spicy ginger syrup. We blended fresh ginger and peppercorns, and it can be used to substitute and use as your own instead of ginger beer. The third syrup that we made was the strawberry simple syrup. We cooked down the strawberries to make a rich, delicious, sweet syrup. The last was not a syrup, but was an infusion. We infused non-alcoholic tequila with jalapenos. We soaked the jalapenos for a period of time and found that once we had done that, it gave the tequila a spicy flavor, which is great for adding to mocktails. On episode 5, Sparkling Mocktails, we used a non-alcoholic sparkling wine and beer to create 6 dazzling creations that sparkle and fizz with every sip. And they're perfect for any celebration or special occasion. We started with a simple mimosa, the combination of sparkling wine and orange juice. We then added some fruit to make a strawberry mimosa, which is a variation using our homemade strawberry syrup. The third mocktail that we made was the Kir Royale, we used the black currant syrup, a variation of our strawberry simple syrup, blueberries and mint. The next mocktail we made was the French 75, which is a lemon-based cocktail using our simple syrup, fresh lemon, and non-alcoholic gin. The fifth mocktail was a Spritz, an Italian classic that uses non-alcoholic Italian bitter liqueur and sparkling non-alcoholic wine. And finally, we ended it off with our beer cocktail, which was the Black Velvet. And who could forget episode 6, our exploration of the perfect marriage of orange juice and syrups. In 3 delightful concoctions, we discovered the magic that happens when the tangy zest of orange juice meets the rich sweetness of our favorite syrups. We started off with the Sunrise mocktail, which used, of course, our orange juice and our homemade grenadine. The second was the Hurricane, which was a mix of juices, syrups, and non-alcoholic rums. And the third was the Bocce Ball, which used one of my favorites, and that was a non-alcoholic amaretto. In our last episode, Syrup and Spice, we added a touch of complexity and warmth to our mocktails with 3 enticing creations that marry the sweetness of syrup with the exotic allure of spice. The first was the spicy non-alcoholic margarita. We were fortunate enough to use our jalapeno infusion and, of course, chose to use freshly squeezed limes and oranges for our mocktail. The second was the blueberry allspice smash. The great thing about this mocktail was there was no use of non-alcoholic spirits, but we were able to use our allspice simple syrup as well as fresh blueberries. The third was the non-alcoholic Moscow Mule. We used our homemade spicy ginger syrup and soda water to replace the traditional ginger beer. But our journey doesn't end here. I invite you to continue experimenting, innovating, and creating your own mocktail masterpieces. Let your imagination be your guide as you explore the endless possibilities that await you in the world of mocktail mixology. Until we meet again, keep shaking, stirring, and sipping your own way to new adventures. Cheers.